Now, a social experiment enterprise.
Welcome to Stop Now. I'm Nate.
And I'm JK. Together we are the hosts for this week's talk show.
Yes, and we've got a very interesting and important show for everybody today, JK. I can't wait to get started.
Oh, Nate, everything we talk about is interesting and important, isn't it?
You're right, but this week our issues are particularly pertinent to something that's affecting the entire world.
Now, I would like to say I don't know what that is, but of course, I do. You are talking about the dreaded virus, aren't you?
Yes, I am, JK. I'm talking about COVID-19. But before we get into the main story, let's have a brief coronavirus update for the folks out there.
I heard, unfortunately, that the number of new COVID-19 cases rose again last week in the US. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. And before then, we'd been experiencing a reduction in new cases, but unfortunately, it spiked again this week. And there's also, another anxiety added into the mix as more and more people are starting to return to work.
The economy has to get back on its feet somehow, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But if you remember, JK, COVID-19 spreads through sneezing, coughing, and standing too close to people. So these offices that some people are returning to could turn into hives of infection in no time at all.
Oh no, that we both sit so far away from each other. Although I'm not sure I would like to be much nearer to you anyway.
Hey, that's very funny, JK. Are you trying to bring in a racist joke or something? Although this issue that we're talking about is very serious, my friend.
No, not at all, man. Of course not. Come on, Nate. You know me.
Well, due to the fact that not everyone is showing symptoms, it is possible that lots of people are going into work unaware that they are about to spread this virus amongst their colleagues and friends.
Is there anything people can do to prevent this?
Yes, there are the usual measures that we've all heard over the last 6 or 7 months. Wash your hands regularly, wear a mask, and be careful where you stand. But we can also encourage employers to perform routine PCR and blood tests.
Jeez, Nate, you have lost me there. What are they?
Okay, well, these tests are tests that will essentially identify people that have the virus asymptomatically. And it is the employer's responsibility to do this in order to look after their employees and their families.
It seems like it's going to be a big change in the workplaces across the US.
Indeed it is. But we've got to make sure that we all stay diligent because it's the only way we can beat this thing.
So you said our main story this week concerns the virus as well. Is that right?
In a way it is, JK. This week, we'll be talking about the coronavirus impact, illegal immigration restrictions, and the H1B visa. I think this is a side of the COVID-19 crisis that people are not talking about enough, and this must change.
And it is our duty to change it. Stop now.
Exactly. That's what we're here for.
Go on then. Tell me more.
Okay, well, we've heard about the infection rate of the virus, the drain on medical resources, the drain on the economy, and even how the virus is spreading all around the world. But what isn't being talked about is how the Trump administration are using this outbreak to cover up some of their shadier business.
These people are hard to trust, Nate. And it seems it's consistently innocent members of the public that are affected. Do we have any news stories that indicate the sort of shadier business you refer to?
I'm glad you asked, my friend. In a news article titled, "White House Prepares New Immigration Limits Using Coronavirus as a Cover," Priscilla Alvarez explains that despite the Trump administration reopening the U.S. economy, they have rolled out yet another set of restrictions on legal immigration, citing the impact of the coronavirus pandemic as a suitable justification.
But that doesn't make any sense. Surely, if they were really worried about the pandemic, then they would be stopping Americans returning to work too.
You are absolutely right. They would. And this is another classic example of hypocrisy that's typified President Trump's time in office thus far.
It's also blatant prejudice, I would say. Visas target one group and one group only, immigrants. And am I right in thinking that is a whole load of visas that are under consideration for suspension?
Sadly, yes. And these include L1 visas, J1 visas, H2Bs, and of course, the H1B visas for workers in specialty occupations. It is this last visa that we are mostly concerned about, although the ramifications of the suspension of any of these could be hugely damaging to our country.
What news is there on the H1B visa?
Well, JK, there was a news story recently about the proclamation preventing H1B visa holders traveling to the United States.
Yes, actually, I think I remember that.
Well, I can bring you some updated news. Indian nationals have filed a lawsuit against this proclamation in an effort to finally fight the unjust way that this visa is used.
Wow, that sounds promising. Can we cite our sources?
I don't see why not. In an article titled Indian Nationals File Lawsuit Against H1B H4 Travel Ban by Trump Administration, Priyanka Sanghani writes that the complaint has been filed by immigration law firm Wasden Banai on behalf of 174 Indian nationals.
174? That's a lot of people.
It is, but it is still only a microcosm of all the people the legislation on H1Bs are affecting.
How do you know all of this?
Because, JK, all this information is out there for the people that care enough to find out. In a news story I've been reading called Who is Affected by Trump's New Rules on Work Visas, the writer estimates that the U.S. grants more than 85,000 H-1B visas every year. In the fiscal year 2019, the Department of State issued 188,123 H-1Bs for both new applicants and renewals. 131,549 of these were for Indian citizens.
Wow, this really gives you an idea of the scale of the problem, doesn't it? So you are saying this group of Indian nationals are really just the tip of the iceberg?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And what's worse is that many of the people impacted by the bans are dependents.
Dependents? Sorry, Nate, you're going to have to explain yourself again. I'm lost.
Okay, no problem. Dependents are, that essentially means minors. These are the children that the Trump office are choosing to deprive of immigration rights.
That's awful, man.
It is. And there were even people who, when the travel bans were imposed, were out of the country. This meant many couldn't travel back to the U.S. to see friends, families, or loved ones.
It's really starting to feel like the government just doesn't care about anything. And I want to do something about it, Nate. Remind me and the listeners exactly what Stop Now are aiming to do and how everyone around the world can help.
Of course, it is paramount that we get as many people involved as possible. Now, you've listened to us. You are well on your way to helping these issues, which is good. But you have to make sure you continue to share these stories.
Yes, I agree on that, Nate. Keep talking and informing people. Definitely raise awareness everywhere you can.
And you can always donate. You can donate to our cause anytime you'd like. This will really aid us in you'll be helping lots of people escape from these unfair and immoral conditions. You can visit our website to learn more information and find out how you can help.
Is that everything for this week, Nate?
Yes, I think it is, JK. And I would like to thank everyone out there for listening.
Oh, also one more reminder to wear those masks and wash your hands.
Yes, exactly. Well remembered, my friend. Wear masks, wash hands, stay safe, and keep listening to us. We'll be back next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise. Stop, listen, share. Everyone can make a difference. We are on a mission. Everyone should do something greater in their lifetime. Change the future. Be a proud member. Join us to support, volunteer, and donate.